In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a formative assessment called an exit ticket, and we're going to be using Google Forms. And an exit ticket is just a quick way for you to assess what students have gotten out of the class period that has just passed. It's something that they would complete at the end of a lesson. And it's a good way for you to just kind of tap into what your students have learned and or how they're feeling about what they just learned. And it's a great way, in a quick at-a-glance way, for you to readjust your teaching based on the feedback that you get very quickly from this Google form. So what I've just done is opened up a new Google form, and I'm going to title it Exit Ticket. And you can create a template exit ticket and then just keep making copies of it based on what you're learning. You can always add questions to it if you need to. If you would like to make a copy, you just click these three dots here and go to make a copy, and it will generate a copy of your template. So this is just going to be a very basic exit ticket. Right now I have a purple background, but if I want to go ahead and change that, I can change the color palette, or I can click this little icon here and I can change my background color to be a picture or an illustration. And I'm going to do that. Since this one is a history exit ticket, I'm going to look for something that would fit that. My American flag is perfect. So now I'm going to start adding questions to my exit ticket, and the essence of the exit ticket is that it's short and sweet. So we're not going to add too much to it. It's going to be a quick at-a-glance thing for us to take a look at after our students complete it, and I'll show you how to do that in Google Sheets. But it's only going to be a few questions long, and your students will be able to complete it within 3 minutes or so. So my first question is very simple. It's going to be first name. And as you can see, that's a short answer, so the student can just type in their answer here. If I ever wanted to change the format of my question, I can do that by clicking the down arrow, and that will give me several options for my question, for what format I want my question to be in. So I have first name, and now I'm going to add a question over here, and I do that by clicking the plus sign. And then I'm going to add last name. And Google's so brilliant, it can kind of tell based on what you type what kind of answer you're looking for. So that one actually was a multiple choice, I believe, and it sensed that I was looking for a last name, so it changed it automatically to short answer. Next, I'm just going to add the period or block for my classes. And this is not going to be a short answer. I could make it a short answer, but I'm going to make this one multiple choice. And the first option is A block, and the second option is F block. So students can select whichever block they're in. And this one was how well did you understand the material presented in class today? And again, Google is sensing, based on the language that I'm using, that I would like to use a linear scale, and I do. And I am going to actually change this from 1 to 0. So it's going to be, students are going to be rating how well they understood the material based on a scale of 0 to 5. And I'm going to put a label. So 0 is going to be, I didn't understand it. And 5 is going to be, I've totally got this. My next question is going to be, what did you learn today? And I'm going to put 1 to 2 sentences. Short and sweet. And this is sense that it's going to be in paragraph form, which is correct. Next question. What questions do you have about what we learned today? Again, another paragraph response. This could also be short answer. And then last, I'm going to include a question that says, please answer the question on the whiteboard. And this is going to be a way for me to, on a daily basis, put a question up on the whiteboard for students to answer on their exit ticket, and I'll be able to gather that information when I look at the results on the Google Sheet. So once I've created this exit ticket, how then do I distribute it to my students in a way that I can get all of this formative assessment data back to me in a timely fashion? And if your students don't have a one-to-one situation where they're walking around with Chromebooks all day, it can be a challenge, but there are ways to distribute these forms out to your students via email, via a link, via Google Classroom, so that you can gather that information. And I'm just going to quickly show you how to do it on Google Classroom. This is one of my classes in Google Classroom, and I'm just going to add the plus sign, and I'm going to create an assignment. And this is going to be exit ticket, and then I'm just going to put a date. And then I'm going to grab the link from my exit ticket, and I can do that by clicking send and clicking on the paper clip right here. And what that will allow me to do is to just grab this link here. I'm going to copy it, and once I get that link, I can put it directly, paste it into Google Classroom, and there is the link to my exit ticket. So basically, students leave my class, or they can actually do it while they're sitting right in class, and they fill out their exit ticket, and I have the data for myself in minutes. The other way to send the form is strictly to send it out via email. So if you have, if your students have Gmail addresses and you've created a quick group for them, you can send it out via email. You could also just shorten the URL, and you can write it up on the board, and students can copy it down and just type it into their browser like so. I'll show you. And once they do that, the form will appear, and they'll be able to complete it quickly. So once you have that link and you're able to, there's my exit ticket. Once you have that link that you're able to grab, you could put it in a slideshow, you could put it on your website. There are many ways that your students can access it just by grabbing this link. So all of my students have completed the exit ticket. Now, how do I go about looking at the data and using it? So right now I'm in my exit ticket, and I want to click on responses because that's where I'm going to be able to glance at that data quickly. And I can get a quick summary of my responses. I have 4 of them. Just by scrolling down, this is really valuable. How well did you understand the material presented in class today? And this will give me a rundown of the scale that I use from 0 to 5, and it will show me a bar graph of the percentage of students that clicked on each choice. And here are the specific answers to each question broken down for me by student. And if I want to, I can scroll back up, and if I click on individual, I'm able to go through each student's individual response. So this one starts out with I'm a Googler, and if I arrow over, I can actually scroll through all of my students' exit ticket responses. Now, there's an even simpler way to take a look at these responses, and that is on a Google Sheet. And what Google Forms will do is just create a basic spreadsheet here just by clicking this green icon, and it's creating a new spreadsheet of exit ticket responses. The other neat thing that you could do is select an existing spreadsheet and keep a cumulative record of all of your exit tickets throughout a unit or a school year. So that's kind of a neat thing to do as well. But I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, and it's going to open up a brand new Google Sheet. And it's going to have all of my data broken down for me by column. So everything is time stamped, my first and last name of my students. I have whatever block they're in. And then I have just my at a glance, how well did you understand the information? And here's my scale from 0 to 5. And this is the most powerful piece where students can kind of let you know where they're at. And even just taking a look at that H column, the question from the whiteboard, you can kind of just get a sense of whether or not students understand what you've taught them based on that. I could sort by class here, so if I just want to look at my A block results, I can click down and I can sort the sheet. So you can use Google Forms and its data gathering capabilities to very quickly create a formative assessment. It doesn't just have to be an exit ticket. In the slideshow I've created, I have shared some other examples of formative assessments in Google Forms for you. But it's just a very simple way to just check in with your students and have the data gathered for you quickly.